Hey there, folks. It is Wednesday, January 23rd, 2019, 9:13 a.m. I started getting up earlier lately because there's just a couple things I'm trying to get finished here where I have to deal with some builders getting some stuff done around the property so I can get out of here. I'm anxious to just let this body drop and get going. Anyway, as I've had time to pretty much do nothing, sit in my chair and be a little more than a vegetable. I'm closer now and it feels great. Anyway, I was sitting there watching stuff on the internet and I realized I hadn't put something together for you. I've always been foremost about you all knowing who you are, what you can do, and cranking up your abilities. I haven't delved as much into the UFO and MUFON, Solar Warden, secret space program, and all this other stuff. Hitler's still in Antarctica, all this kind of crazy stuff. It's crazy and it's not. But I need to tell you what's going on with that. I don't want to leave here without having done that. You've heard me talk about ETs. You've heard me talk about my son Bravel. His base post of operation is in right where the North and South Pacific Oceans meet. His base is down there. The land, the way they cut out the time and everything, it's not straight. It goes all over the place, and then it's just down to the right of that, I believe. I am very tired. This body's very weak. My energy's still strong as hell. But it's more outside of this body where it needs to be so I can get out of here. When it's time, just go. And that's very close now. So it seems like there's always something that'll keep me here, but no one's arguing about at the time of my departure, so all things being the same, it'll be soon. Anyway, that would be next month, but we'll see. No one on the other side knows what's going on. They don't know what to do. Part of my own energy doesn't have my intellect, doesn't understand, thinks it's doing the right thing when I just need to go. But there were just a couple things I had to do while I'm here. If I didn't, then I'd have to go into someone and run them. to make it happen, and that's at a time when, you know, that person would be grieving. I'm just not going to go there. The other side runs us when we're in a body, when they feel it's necessary or when they want to. It's always been chaotic and abusive. All that's, everything doing that's any kind of an issue has been destroyed, deleted, gone. Everything's going to change. Now, that stuff I've been talking about, as well as your metaphysical abilities, we have had other races living on this planet before us. The first to come down here were the Nantids, or what the Hopi call the ant people. Okay, they've been here. They were the first here. As far as actual earthen bodies, that not bodies made from this planet's material, but the first organized setup for a civilization was the Adamic race. We're not going into this stuff in any kind of detail, but we had many other races coming here for a little over 11 million years, and the Nantids have been here before that. So again, trying to keep from going. I'm trying to keep this moving forward. Not just from being so weak and sick, but because I need to make this video short for you, for those of you that want to watch it. So anyway, we have had other races here forever. About 10.25 million years ago, the Annunaki, a problematic group of Anunnaki. Anunnaki are wonderful, wonderful people. They're strong, reptilian, very strong and large. The Drakh are the first race. They're the oldest. The Nantids are the second. And then the Anunnaki are not too much farther after that. And Drakh, a dragon. When you meet one, you'll see the difference between a dragon and a reptilian. Even though dragons have reptilian, part of a dragon is reptilian. It's not, the separation is for what we call reptilian. The Drakh are very, everyone's unique, but they're unique in their makeup, physical makeup. Back to the planet. So anyway, it was about 11 million years ago. We had folks come here making different bodies, half animal, half human and stuff. They were souls that came in, some essence. But that's before there was a set form of life on the planet. And your minotaurs and stuff like that, that's where they came from. They were making bodies that were half animal and half human, half plant and half human, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, they were taken away. So what we have is a planet that all of a sudden, about 11 million years ago, we started getting other people coming here from other planets, finding out how rich Gaia, the Earth, was. Gaia is the planetary essence, the spirit within her. Finding out what she had for materials. So they started coming here from different planets, and then back there, Lemuria is where they all settled. It was in the Pacific Ocean. It went from one end to the other, from the north to the south. The capital of it was, and still is, Hawaii. The southernmost tip was New Zealand. Now, about 10.25 million years ago, the Annunaki took over. They were running things here. Now, this is where I'm explaining who's in control of what's been going on, what kind of community do we have existing of humans and ETs and other forces that have been here. When I say other forces, I'm talking about ETs from farther away, ETs that have, made the Earth their home before us, before the Adamic race. But see, all these other folks from other solar systems, the Pleiades, Andromeda, different galaxies. They've been mixing with the Adamic race over time. Reptilians started doing it immediately as soon as the Adamics came here, pretty much. So then the Earth, and that's how these human bodies came to be like this. There's many Pleiadians that are human-like, that are taller than us, Andromeda, that tend to be taller folks among us, and then most of the Andromedians tend to be smaller, shorter. Now, as the Anunnaki took over control of the planet, and again, that was about 10.25 million years ago, all through these different ages. The age, time, and the actual basic dates of the ages on this planet. We're in the 6th age. We went from the 5th age to the 6th age, just very smooth. There was supposed to be a flip in a magnetic field. Didn't happen. It was kept from happening from the other, from energy on the spirit on the other side, not energy, spirit. The thing I came from, called Arae, is what did it, and he's not. Only teeny pieces of him are left anymore. That has to do with a fight on the other side. What used to be in control of everything is no longer is. It's deleted. Crimes against the creation it made. Anyway, that's why it's so important to me for you to awaken your abilities to understand who you are, where you came from, what's been going on, how we got here, your history. The creation series, there's book 1 and 2 over here, I think, and then book 3's over here. If you go to thespiritualfoundation.com, you'll see all the books and stuff over there. Right now, Dan is only making spheres. She doesn't have enough time. We're finishing what needs to be done here at the house, with different laborers coming in to do stuff before I go. Right now, it's the only thing keeping me here. But anyway, those spheres, you get them at thespiritualfoundation.com. The fastest way for you to wake up, number one, you have to want to wake up. And when I say wake up, you have natural abilities, okay, that are incredibly strong. Your ability to see multidimensionally comes through your pineal. It occurs with the aid in putting your own energy, your personal energy, through the pineal gland. The scanner energy that's up here comes from a massive part of the brain, and that's how you see. Remote viewing, see. It's also how you can come out through the crown and easily go into the field when you learn to just relax. All you do is relax your energy and you float into the field. And you just look. Don't get stupid. Don't get aggressive. The field energy out there is part of me. I was created to serve and protect. And I'm finally going to be able to do that properly as soon as I get out of this body. But that part of the field is still part of me. Just don't get stupid with it, Just say, I would be serious. I want to see this. And it will help you see. It will help you. But you have to wake up your abilities. You have to learn how to calm your energy down, which allows it to blend with the field so you can get the information. A lot of people talk about meditation and mantras and stuff where they say the same thing over and over again. Folks, if you just breathe, nice, full, relaxed breaths, you're fine. When you start working on mantras and stuff like that, you know, people can get there that way, okay? However, when you do that, you're engaged in your conscious mind. The whole idea is to let go of that. When I talk about the pineal gland and other parts of your body, your heart has an electromagnetic field that extends out everywhere. It puts out, depending on a person, it'll put out 1,000 times, I think about 300 times more energy than a brain does, but over 1,000 times more of the electromagnetic field property. There's 5 energy fields that are necessary to create sentient life. The one that's the most important one, but you have to have all 5. But the most important one is an electromagnetic energy force. Okay, it's an energy field. It's part of us. When we are put in a body, that's what runs the body. When children are born, stillborn, and they won't wake up, there's no spirit inside them. It doesn't have a battery. You want to see who you are? Look in a mirror and then look at your face. That's what you think is you. Okay, that's the body that you're in. So for your life, that's part of you. Look inside your eyes. It's hard to just, you'll start picking one eye and then the other. Relax, take a nice, not overly full, I can't breathe, okay? I'm always suffocating, so it seems more dramatic when I do it, but take a full breath, relax. Every time you take a little extra, another full breath, a nice full breath, you go a little more relaxed. It's like falling deeper into yourself, okay? So you just do it 2 or 3 times and then just relax. Don't try to suck in the clouds, okay? Just normal, relaxed breathing. When your spirit's inside your body with all the energy coming off of it, when it goes to the pineal, when the brain part of you, the autonomic nervous system, your lungs, brain stuff, movement, all right, that's controlled through the base part of your brain, okay, the main part of it. Let's just say the bulk of the brain. That's what controls that. But there's ways you can move energy around in your body and in your head, your brain, into the hypothalamus gland, which is like a nexus, a central location point. It's not the control point. It's a central meeting point of energy. If you have a bunch of trains going all over the country and they come into a station, this is the station. When you send your energy out through the pineal gland, the design, the shape of the pineal gland has an effect on your energy as you put it in there, and it builds up an energetic field in your brain. Excuse me. That helps you while you're stuck, forced into that body, shoved in there and welded shut. While you're, stuck in the body. When you go through the pineal gland, it helps you see multidimensionally. Remember, you're all a spirit. You're spirit. You're people, beings, people of spirit. Plant, animal, human, fae, solar, stars, planets. They're both planets, and stars are universal essence. Anyway, keeping us going here. Just when you go to look in your eyes, just let your eyes go out of focus. Kind of look at your head. Just let your eyes go out of focus where you're looking at your head, and then in your mind's eye, in your mind, just go into both those eyes. Okay? If you want, you can stare one eye and then the other, but that's who you are inside. The first time someone does that, they get a little like, wow, that's weird. What is that? Well, that's you. That's the real you. But while you're in your life, that's a union. While you're in the body that you're in, that's a union of yourself and physical earth mass. It came from the planet originally. So it's a, I don't use the word sacred, but in my opinion, it's a very personal, sacred type of situation. So I ask people to respect their bodies. Feed it, take care of it, so you can have a better, time when you're in that body having a life. Now, getting back to things. So, the best thing to do to start becoming awake, this has to do with talking with ETs, communication. That's what we're talking about. There's so many reasons for me to be here, and the most important reason for me to be here was to be in a body and write these books. I could have done I could have done everything but that. There are people here that are source. I've cranked them up. They're very strong. As I'm at the spirit inside, it's source. It came from the primary Lily and myself on the primary Arae, the initial Arae. As I've grown, other parts have come off of me, and the same with the primary Lily. And then primary Lily and I got together and released a third of our energy and created source angels, source animal, and then other, what we had left, we put into regular source. Now, source animal was 55 to 65% animal essence, and the rest source. Angel was 55 to 65% angel, and the rest source. And then so the source that was we released that way, it has varieties of different fields of essence in it. Deanna is mostly her strongest field is animal essence. Animals come up to her. Birds fly in her hand, jump in her hand. She'll put her hand down. They pop in. All kinds of animals. They love her. The raccoon come up to her, touch her when she's sitting outside of the house. She'll sit there, relax and just have a little quiet time for herself. It's hard to live and work in the same place. Very hard. But all the wild cats come up, the opossum, the raccoon come right up, grab, touching her. They feel her energy. She feeds them. They understand, but they feel her energy. It's like they're talking, they know instinctively who she is, what she is inside, and that she's very calming, very strong, very powerful, and that she's very loving. Now, I talk a lot about Deanna, I guess, but there's other source people here too that are very strong. There's a lot here that are, some of them very young. When I'm on the other side and I've got things settled down, take about 4 months, then I'm going to go into other folks and crank them up from the other side if I know they need it. The first thing I'll be doing is I'll be sending them to other people to get cranked up, okay? But if somebody can't get it and they need it, when it's time, I'll take care of it. But there's people here to do it, okay? But if somebody is really poor and doesn't have the money and it's important they come alive, they will. To have source energy put in you in this life will enhance you beyond anything I can easily explain. Your abilities become so much stronger with that source spirit inside you. You have you literally attract ETs and other stuff. MUFON is a very good company. Some of the other folk in it, Stanton Friedman, I think is his name. He's totally solar plexus. He doesn't understand opening up and energy, spirit, stuff like that. That causes a lot of issues with him because he's been fighting. He's been fighting a steel wall. It's not even a brick wall. He's been fighting a steel wall for how many years? Dealing with the lies of the United States government. So the government, and it's the same worldwide, of course, but they say, oh, the public can't know because they can't handle it. They'll riot, they'll go crazy. What happens after a championship football game here in the U.S. or soccer, football, what they call football, what we call soccer here, out in Europe? After the big meets, they all go stupid and just start, having their little temper tantrums. It's an excuse to act out. Well, they're going to do it anyway. It's already happening. So, and this world that they say we live in, it's the one that they try to build for us. You want to talk about a warden? Yeah, that's how they look at it. They know better than us. They want control of us. They want all the money. Now, so anyway, that's why it's important. That's the strongest thing you do for yourself is get someone to crank you up. This fear, if you really can't afford it, to have someone else crank you up, then who is source? They have to be source. Period. They have to be source, and it has to be allowed through the field. So if someone can't be cranked up because they have too high of a percentage of lower frequencies, or because the person themselves isn't, even though the source, they're not going to be allowed to crank someone up because they have issues. It won't be allowed. It has to happen through the field. The field controls it, and that's me. But those people that have money, that push forward to get this done, then they have all kinds of stuff coming at them, good stuff. The ETs can see they can read our energy inside our body and outside of the body. They have little displays. There's a satellite. There's a few satellites, 3 of them, 4 of them. 4 satellites going around our planet right now that have the ability to actually read our energy. The problematic Annunaki that were here taught a different group of some of the military groups, countries, whatever, to how to build these things. So that way they can read anyone's energy. So when you're source inside, then you get a lot of attention. Okay. The ETs know who you are. They know source. They know me. They're in and out of this house all the time. Me and Deanna. Deanna and I have 58 children from our, respective genetic makeup, our fluids, eggs, and we have 58 children already living, and there's others that are in a process of growing. It'd be 60 something of us. The Eben, from Zeta Reticuli, the Greys, or whatever, Sepoian. They're some of the best around to create bodies. They do a lot of grafting and stuff like that. I have a son, Bravel, we'll talk about a little bit. It's like this secret space program, but it's not. There's factions, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. Okay, just let me finish this spiritual thing. When the ETs come in, and they're here, but when they come popping in from farther away to talk, they're telepathic. and they're very good at it. They're taught, if they're you look at their age relative to ours, it's like us at 6 years old being taught how to use our abilities, not being told, if you ever say you can do that, we're going to lock you up in a nut house. It's not as bad as that now, but there's it's been like that almost forever. So anyway, so by using your abilities, you'll be talking with them, what they call interpreters, or whatever, communicators. That'll be helping out regular people who aren't awake, and businesses. The government is not going to control the ETs coming here. No way. You think ETs are stupid? Take a look at how they get here, what they fly around in, their technology. There's an alliance of planets that later became the Alliance of Life, when two spirit beings, two very large spirit beings, primarily in Arae, literally sit at this table. They have their own little place. Their energy sits right there. Excuse me, their spirit. And then through these monitors that read, the equipment our ET friends have that can read your energy, the frequencies within your spirit, they see you. You can see them sitting there, and you can communicate back and forth. I told you there's going to be open disclosure for everything, that everyone was going to be aware of other dimensions and everything else. I wasn't kidding. It wasn't a joke. There's a huge council that'll be built soon of spirit from the other side. There'll be equipment where people can actually talk to folks to the spirit that was in the physical bodies of their relatives and stuff, other business people. As long as they're not in another body, you can talk to someone that was in another body, and if so, you can find out who that was, but you're not going to be able to access any information that they had in a previous life. It doesn't work like that. When we're put in these bodies, we're super stupid. There's only a teeny piece of us put in there, and it's like taking a walnut and locking it up inside a huge bowling ball. Okay, where you can't get out. It's a bowling ball of tar and everything else. Anyway, those people that can afford it, you need to go through the process and get cranked up. If you're really poor, you don't have the money, you're going to be helped. If you need to go, you need to come alive. You need to come alive. That's how that works. It's a gift to have Source put inside you. It changes who you are. Almost everything's soul. Almost everyone is soul that's in one of these bodies. It takes the other fields of essence and bonds that and other stuff to you, and you keep about 10 to 20% of what's put in you. You keep that much permanently. It changes who you are forever. I used to do these things for $1,500, $1,200 for one person, $15 for two, and sometimes I've done 10 of them for $2,500. I've done more for less. The first 800 of these basic crank ups I did when I started doing this, I wouldn't let anyone pay me, and then when I was tired of not being able to eat, I went ahead and had to start charging. Anyway, so that's the number one. Number two is getting one of these spheres from Deanna. There'll be source people making spheres too. But what you get from Deanna right now, all this stone has got my energy in it. While I'm still in this body, I crank up the spheres. so they'll be good and strong. Deanna's strong as hell. When she cranks it up, you'll feel, when she goes in you, you feel it. But she's a female source. She's almost 100% female. I'm not, a little over 97% male. When it comes to universal essence, which is planetary, which is physical body and healing, that's the female source is going to give you more of that energy. And then the male, that's me, my energy. It's very strong, very powerful. Female's powerful too, but that male source is other power. And star energy, very strong. It just so happens that 40% of Deanna's actual energy, not spirit, but energy, is power that came from me. It's crazy how she and her source mate were made. So if she cranks someone up, they're getting the planetary essence and everything, but they're also getting, some very, very strong energy that came from me, out of body, as myself. And all the stones here, like I said, everything's cranked up. She has years worth of stone. There's tons of dragon egg star essonite and there's star essonite and stuff. That's pretty much a limitless supply. And when it's cranked up, it's so much stronger. And then these spheres will reach out 25-foot radius from the sphere. The max spheres will. There's a lot of different type of spheres. A lot of them you can turn into max spheres by putting the extra dragon egg star essonite and it being cranked up. The thing about it too, that energy never comes out. It makes you stronger. You might think that it's weaker. No, you're stronger. And if you have any doubts, go to a metaphysical supply store and let someone ask who can feel energy, and then put the sphere down and tell them take their hands like this and slowly move it towards the sphere. But tell them just to put their hands up here first and feel it. They'll feel it, and they get closer and they're like, "What the hell's this?" There's cubes and stuff out there in the market for up to $5,000 and everything, or actually there's some like $35,000-$40,000. Magic box. It's got magic in it. No, it's a waste of money. I think a lot of people that spend that kind of money on something, they're going to say it does something, because they're not going to be projecting the image of themselves being caught by a liar. By a liar, a person with no honor. I don't know how to say that politely at all. So, anyway, so your children, their children, and on. It's energized forever. It's eternal. It's not going to come out. Okay. To help you talk with spirit guides and develop your metaphysical abilities, such as telepathy, connecting, you can connect with people through the field too, going just through your crowns, and you can use your whole body, your heart. The rune cards that are up there with the rune book, the cards that you buy the book at Amazon.com, and the cards you have to get from Deanna. Those are symbols I've brought from other planets, different lives, and they're literally the symbols, the proper symbols for you to awaken. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but they're used to communicate There's no stronger tool. There's nothing as strong as those cards to help you learn how to start talking with your spirit guides, and while talking with them, to start utilizing, awakening and utilizing your metaphysical abilities. Sometimes people get a max sphere, they put it on a table, and then there'll be a few people hanging around, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, 1, whatever, and everyone's getting cranked up by the sphere while they're using the cards, and you'll feel it in your head. When it's too strong, just move it farther away. But as long as you have it near you and you can feel it a little bit, in time you'll be able to, you'll be able to have it near you and sleep. You can hold it. It's not going to light up a light bulb. It's metaphysical. That energy that pulses through your body that keeps you alive. Do you feel that? No. Can you feel static electricity? Yes, it's different energy. So anyway, that helps you. The better you can talk with your spirit guides, the easier it is for you to talk with the ETs when they're here. All of us are much smarter than we think we are, because we can't access our full intelligence. This much of you is put inside a body. That's all that can fit in there, because you're huge. You're floating outside of your body and out into the second dimension. We're in the third dimension, the physical one. The second one is metaphysical, with some heavy particulate matter, pieces of it, chunks of it moving around. And then the first dimension is now locked up and not frozen, but somewhat solidified. There's no more first beings that are ever going to be created. There's 4 more white men come out, and that's it. Anyway, so that's important to help you talk with ETs. Having source inside you draws them to you like a magnet. On MUFON, they were talking about, there was a gentleman, real nice guy too, he's really cool. He wanted to be in the military after something had happened, and he was rejected. And then the ETs said, put him in the military. So they said, come on down and let's look at you again. So they put him in the military, and then he's used as a communicator between ETs and him. Now, how did the ETs know that? They have this equipment. They can read everyone. Anytime they look at you, they scan you. They know who you are. Past lives that you had, they can tell you what they are. Okay? So anyway, I want you to wake up your abilities, because I want you to be whole. I want you to understand who you really are. Everyone's always put down. I want you to appreciate who you really are. I want you to learn how to love yourself the way I love you. I want you to appreciate yourself the way I appreciate you. I want you to have the truth of who you really are and what you can do. And that's only when you're stuck in a body. And when you're free, you have no idea how huge, powerful, and intelligent you are. 2,000 years from now, these physical bodies, all but 10% of them will be gone. You're going into energy bodies like the Fae bodies, the Fae that float around and hang around. Everything that's a problem is being taken away. As soon as I'm out of this body, all this stuff, it's already started happening, but it's going to happen in a large scale. There's things in bodies, on this planet especially, that are really nasty. They're literally going to be, the body's just going to be stopped. They're going to die. Heart attack, stroke, whatever. Boom. The body dies. Then the spirit just comes right out and is deleted. It'll be deleted permanently. If you take away all the abuse that you have while you're in a body, having a life, the abuse everywhere, the small abuse, the big abuse, your life is a whole lot more comfortable. Everyone's been building up abuse frequencies. They're additional frequencies to who you are, and they're sick looking. And they mess with the function of yourself as your true self, spirit. And then, see, that's why, another reason it was time to get rid of the original first being, male and female. They wouldn't stop all the abuse. It was hurting everyone as who they really are. And then the protector says, hey, I'm taking care of creation. It's my job. But it had to happen, unfortunately, through body. I'm still killing stuff. Nothing like it was, but all the big stuff's gone. It's just stupid idiots flying around and others trying to help. The original first being, male and female, were the only, they're long dead. The original first angels that they made, the ones that would not comply, meaning just stay away and leave people alone, they're dead. They're gone permanently. They're gone. They would not stop. Anyway, that's how things happen metaphysically. Our friends ETs, they're not gods. They're not they're people. They're just like you and me. Their bodies look different because the bodies come from the planet. Okay, the body. See, this information is good for young people, older people, and everyone else in between. We need to understand this stuff. You need to know who you really are, that you're in a body having a life, that they've all been over abusive, and that all this is being stopped. The stronger your abilities become, the more you'll find out what I'm telling you is true, because you see it for yourself on other levels. Blind faith in anything, including me, what does that do? That makes you beat your head up on a wall, because you can't see where you're really going. Listen to me, relax, take some time to open up, just become one with the field, get some information, learn how to start trusting your gut intuition, trust your heart, which develops your feelings. The only real emotion is like fear, and anger comes right off of that. Everything else is feelings that we develop through the heart, and it's working with the hypothalamus gland in that region in the brain. So, and we are waking up to the reality of life on other planets and everything else. And folks, this is about to happen. Shortly after I go, you'll see it on a large scale. All right, now I need to, haven't talked about that. It's important. Some people say, I just want to hear the ET stuff. Well, do you want to talk to one? Do you want to really know what's going on? Or do you want to tell your friend that you know something he doesn't, even if it's not true? So the internet is a great tool, but there's so much crap on it and in it and everything else. It's like a river flowing really fast with this much water and this much garbage floating on top of it. It's sad. There should be an internet for children and an internet for responsible, honorable people. Anyway. So let's get more to the main body of what this is about. I mean, that's imperative that I say all that stuff, okay? Now, the okay. The main part of this is, so what's going on right now? All right, well, people are waking up, they're becoming themselves. Okay, that's metaphysical, but in the physical part of what we're dealing with, I've given you part of the history of ETs on this planet, where they came from, what happened, how these human bodies are. Because the reptilian, the problematic Anunnaki are beautiful, wonderful people, big as hell, really strong, awesome. Most of you have been Anunnaki before. Had a life in an Anunnaki body. And all these, well, I got to continue with what I'm doing. So, like I've said a couple of times, 10.25 million years, they've been pretty much running things and forcing their DNA into us and everything else. That's why almost everyone on this planet, almost every single person on this planet, has reptilian DNA in their body. Now, so you have this factor of a control here of the reptilians. Excuse me, of the problematic Anunnaki around this planet. There's other reptilians in there, but this is almost solid problematic Anunnaki. So they this top 1% of rich people in this planet, what they call the top 1%, these folks are literally tied in with the things that used to control them. They were tied in with the people who were controlling the earth. The 7 Anunnaki clans, there were 12 real strong clans, but there were 12 very powerful Anunnaki clans, but 7 of them were strong enough to push the others away and make their own little thing here. So this other top 1% would deal with them. There's other people that the Anunnaki clans here, very strong hybrids, Anunnaki human hybrids, and they had their own little group, and a lot of them were. These folks are involved in all kinds of stuff. Controlling wars on the planet, controlling governments, controlling the military. ETs, when we started in this age, we're in the 6th age now, but that was, we went from the 5th to 6th age, December 21st, 2012, here on Earth. In that 5th age, in the 5th age, until about 2016, they were controlling this planet. They told everyone what to do, and we'll give you money. 10% of every major trade that's ever happened anywhere, that money, when you get to the big part of it, it all gets funneled right to the folks that take care of stuff for the Anunnaki. A lot of people, including military people, would be paid off with cash, and they'd be told, we need you to do this. Here's the money for it. Do you understand? Not yes or no. Do you understand? Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, then you're going to watch everyone you love die. We're going to destroy you. I don't mean your honor or something. I'm talking about nasty. So through intimidation and fear, and then reward in some cases, a lot of cases at the top end of it. That's how they started controlling things. So that's why the president's a puppet. Always has been. I'm not saying there haven't been good presidents. There have been. I could give examples, but I'm not going to. Too many people still think that it's worth voting for president. All this stuff is governments are about to change. Anyway, so you have the Anunnaki clans running stuff here, running the military. This is planet-wide. This is not just the U.S. This is planet-wide. They're going inside the planet. They have a lot of underground bases on the side. When the Earth went through age changes from the first age to the second age. It changed with like volcanoes, earthquakes. It was crust breaking everywhere. The second age ended the same way. The third age ended in freezing. The fourth, the poles twisting, freezing. The fourth age ended in water. So when all these things happened, they were safe somehow. Well, first off, they've always had incredible technology. They came here on ships from other planets, Uh, then I'm not saying anyone's stupid. I'm just when I talk like this, I'm literally just talking about the assholes that are out there, and your governments and others controlling us. That they try and tell us all the stupid stuff. They try to make you stupid. They say people are stupid. They can't handle the truth. Yeah, they're the ones, like I said earlier, that build this fake, reality that they want us to live in, and then they say we're screwed. We can't handle it because we're there. They're the ones that created the mess. And yes, we can handle it. A little problem at first. Yes, no problem. Get over it. These human bodies are incredibly adaptable. The Earth is known for that. We adapt to different DNA and other stuff like that from other, bodies, other planets. We're in the top 4 planets for or the DNA being adaptable. Okay, so then there's the upper part of the NSA, which it's almost like it's basically its own thing now. It hasn't finished breaking away yet, but it's about to. These Men in Black thing, and of course they're about to be dealt with anyway. But the Men in Black from this group, the old Annunaki group, about 2016, 2015, there was a lot of fighting going on. It's been fighting going on forever. Well, for a long time, for over a million years, there's been a lot of fighting on this planet, underground, hidden. There's a Anunnaki Freedom Force that was fighting here forever. They're still here, but the war's over. They won. It wasn't. They had a lot of help, so to speak. This alliance of planets is now called the Alliance of Life because it has spirit there sitting with it. They're just a second. Okay. Part of me inside my head just opened up to unfog my head a little bit. That feels better. It's just still weak. Anyway, don't mind me mumbling. Trying to keep functioning. Okay, so the Drak, the Drak and the Anunnaki, the Nantids or ant people. Some people call them antids. They've asked me to call them properly Nantids. Capital N, little apostrophe, capital A-N-T-I-D-S. They look like praying mantises and ants combined, but they're more ant-like. Definitely more ant-like. So when the major events would happen at the changing of the ages, going from the first, second, and third, and fourth, and then to the fifth age, they were taking some people down into their compounds. Well, the Anunnaki and stuff, they're already there. They seal it off. They know how to live off the inside of the land, do it on other planets. So anyway, here's the 7 ruling families that were here, controlling everything, making everything the way it is. Early 2016, I think, is when they were finally finished just being beat to hell. The videos I put out, a lot of the videos I put out, I'd show this guy, this Black Panther, and there used to be a time date stamp on there. I don't know what happened. It's gone. Just another hint that I don't need to be making videos anymore, but I did need to make this one. There's no more arguing on the other side about it. I'm getting ready to go. Anyway, and that's mostly for the people that have cranked up and understand what's about to happen. So, and the Earth is about very soon going to join this alliance of life, but they're already here. A dropship came here, I believe it was in 2016, and it was almost the size of the planet. Huge. There's a huge chunk of it still here. It broke off into four big pieces, and then there's four huge pieces, and then another piece that was a fifth piece that was kind of a weird shape, and it broke off into 7 different ships. There's a policing force here that's used out in space. Excuse me. So anyway, that's one of the factions that's here. Okay, that's like the major one that's been going on. The Annunaki, they used to run a place, they're gone, but that's what's been here, running things. And then you had other races that have been here forever, and they came in, find a place in a planet, and they put in their, start building their compounds in here, inside the Earth. The Earth's not hollow. Okay, are there cities in here? Yeah, there's cities in there that, you know, it's not like the whole Earth's hollow, folks. The Earth's solid. But there are, you know, they're big enough to call cities, you know, underground bases. They came in to settle down. And they built the bases like that because Earth still was young and it was moving around a lot, and they knew it. So they knew where to build they knew where and how to build these bases. And of course, our militaries and all, they know how to do that now. All the countries, the main countries have that. Now there's also so anyway, these other folks that have come in here from other planets, just coming and building their little cities, they have a place where they meet, where they've always been meeting. For a little over 1.1 million years, there has been a huge starship underneath Antarctica. It won't fly anymore. Okay, but it makes a very strong base. And ships come in and out through the water all the time. There's even in one of the videos, I even show where there's an opening. It's like one of those weird little, it's not open and it goes like this. It's one that kind of opens up like a spiral kind of thing. I don't know what they call it. I did, but I can't think of it now. Anyway, I'll put a couple other videos, the little windows for it, at the end of this near the end of this video when I stop talking. I'll put that in there. Usually I put the Oahu Ocean out there for a while at the end of a video for 15-20 minutes, just to help people relax after they watch the video, if they have that kind of time. But this time we won't. Anyway, so they get in there through that, and they have storage down there. It's like a depot. There's living quarters down there. There's living quarters inside the continent of Antarctica. Now the folks there are serious people. They don't want to be messed with. When the Germans went down there, and they said, Hitler, you can keep him the hell out of here, but we'll help some of you. There was a lady, again, who was a very strong telepath that was in Germany during World War II. She was communicating with some of the ETs. Some of the ETs says, well, we're going to give you a little bit of some technology, and they gave them some really rust bucket ships just to try to help them. The scientists down there, that's what they were really really wanted to talk with, and that's the ones who went over there to Antarctica. Some of them came over here to the U.S. too, but some of them were down there first in Antarctica. The ships that they had, you know, that attacked Admiral Byrd's fleet when he went up there. They just went to town tearing stuff up. I mean, come on. There's no way um, uh, the U.S. The at that time at that time what we had to protect ourselves would not hold up whatsoever against anything like that. That's why I think it's about 5-6 weeks later, after they got there, they were attacked so hard they said, "Hey, we're out of here." They wanted to take over Antarctica, and they found out what's going on nearby. There were some Neantids down there. Admiral Byrd was sitting there in a cave, and he's just like this, and he's awake, but he's not really there. There were 3 large Neantids right there, going into his head, and showing him this wonderful, place, wonderful city, and everything, all this kind of crazy stuff. Well, there's stuff there, but it's not like, it's not like what people think. It's not like what he was shown. He was shown that on purpose, so that when he left there, he'd be talking about all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay. They wanted him to understand that there was something going on. They wanted him to know that he needed to stay away. Because remember, the U.S., big country, as far as Earthlings go, big country, big power, major military force. So they decided, they wanted him to know, to go home and say, "Hey, stay away from there. There's nothing for us to have there." They wanted him to see this huge thing, indoor suns, and a whole hollow earth thing, and just so because he did, and that's not that far from the truth, because they do have their own artificial lighting. That's extremely good. They have some cities down there that it's not like taking L.A. and putting it in there or something like that. But there are some cities there on the ground around the planet. But anyway, that was there in Antarctica. So that made him retreat, go home, with his tail between his legs, basically speaking, and say, "Hey, there's stuff going on there." But then when he said too much, then that literally was like, okay, we don't know how much to believe of what he said, but the ships, everything came back, beat the hell. So you know what? There's something there that we need to stay away from. So that's Antarctica. It's the other group of folks that are here that the Annunaki clans, for the most part, stayed away from, but not that, if they clashed, the Anunnaki clans would come down hard on people, but they were told not to go after them, trying to, blow them up and everything and take them over. Why? Who told them that? There was a place, an outpost on, excuse me just a minute. That there's an outpost there was an outpost, a large, very large one on Saturn, that was mostly embedded inside the planet from whatchamacallit, my head, from a collision that it had with a huge asteroid a long time ago. And then there was other structures built above it, including a dome, to keep the atmosphere, controllable. Damn. Okay, so they were the ones who had the final word on the major stuff. They had the ability to bring in firepower to literally decimate, the Anunnaki if it was actually necessary. One of the ruling council the ruling Anunnaki clans had members that were on this ruling council. So anyway, that's why the other people were, for the most part, except for small skirmishes, basically protected, basically left alone. They're the ones that have been in Antarctica. They're good people, but they did make a point of telling the U.S., stay the hell out of here. Don't come down here with your warships and try to make this your country. It ain't. We were here before you. We're a lot smarter and more powerful. Damn art. So, and then the U.S. government, and more, have recently become in contact with those people. There was a big flux of people going to Antarctica. Ta-da! That's what that was all about. There's not a hidden Nazi agenda and everything down there. There's humans down there, living down there with them. Mostly, from scientists and other good groups of people that blending in. Why not? So anyway, I've said in a lot of my videos, I gave you time, showed you the timeline on made a time and day stamp with the tablet, to tell you when major fighting was going on. That's for you to understand that I was aware of what's going on, and if I was aware of that, then I should also be aware of what I'm talking about with who you really are and what's going on. Very soon you're meeting the ETs. Okay? Now, ETs, some of them meet with the government, but the alliance is still waiting to come in to say, hey, hello. When a 10-foot drock stands there, one of the old ones, they have a huge nail, like claw, that comes out of the back of their heel and touches the ground as they walk. They're huge, 10 foot, over 1,000 pounds. And dragon. A dragon human. They're crazy powerful. Some of them have wings. It all depends on how much of the old DNA they have. It's incredible. Anyway, they'll be inviting us soon to join the alliance. But you'll see them as they are. The Corey Good talks about the blue avians. That's an image created by Tyr, who's a very well known and respected Nantid. It's one of the Hopi the ant people the Hopi talk about. And he's a friend of mine. He's the family, his spirit inside. I talk with these folks whenever I want. Sometimes I'll be doing a video. When I'm doing a video, I'm relaxing and I'm opening up to see things as I talk about it. And then when I'm like this, that's when a bunch of them come talk. And there's been times that Deanna had to come in when I'm making a video or afterwards or something, and just say, hey, someone's trying to get a hold of you. And then I just stop for a minute, and then I just feel out there, and then start talking with the person. It's hard to do what I do through this body. Now it's shut down. I've got all these children. I love everyone and everything, but I love my kids. I can't hardly reach out to see them, and I'm dying. This body's almost dead. The real me, who I am, never die. Never die. Nothing can kick my ass. So it's just like Stone Mountain. It's just sitting there. I just am. That's all. Everybody wants to be better than something, or I don't understand that. I don't. Why not make yourself better than you were yesterday? Self-improvement, I understand that. I've always been into that, and I've played sports. It's fun, but I've just never been competitive like I had to win. I see people freak out about that stuff, and it's like, dude, what's the problem? Anyway, yet I digress, right? Now, so that's what's the Anunnaki, the problematic Anunnaki clans. They've been taken out. Before they were taken out, Saturn was taken out. The problems there. That base is being rebuilt. There's other folks there. Is the moon hollow? No. Does the moon have bases on it? Yes. There's a few bases on there. We have other folk that have built places of bases on the moon. The Serpatient have built a huge place. They have taken over a huge place that's on the Serpatient, or that's the name they gave me and Deanna when we were talking with them. They're the Nantids. They're small. They're like Nantids, but they're a little smaller, a little developed just a little bit differently. They genetically grew from the Nantids, their ancestors, but they like to travel through space. There's plenty of them to be found around the Zeta Reticuli, other places like that. There's a lot of them run around near Serpo. They're literally, that's kind of like, they're out in that area. That's kind of like their home area. A whole lot of planets, but that's like their home, that area of space. So it's near Serpo. They like to travel in space, and they're like ants. We got the name Serpatient. That's how. We get the name, and we have to pick out the letters and everything. And Deanna's much better at that than I am. And because I see energy and stuff, people, I see who they are. I can see a basic body, no problem. But when I go to, I can't see as well through the this part of my brain. When I was destroying the male part of the original first being, fighting with him, and the female part, the two parts of it. What people call God, it's just a person. There's no such thing. Anyway, I woke up early in the battle before I was myself. I was really weak back then. It was 2009. I wasn't really weak, but compared to now. I woke up one morning. I heard him think in his head. The female part of him told him, said, "Hey, look at how fast he's grown. Look at how he can see and what he can do." They were talking back and forth, and they didn't know I was standing right there next to him. Now they're energy, they're spirit. But I go to him as spirit, and I'm standing right there. They couldn't see me. I'm right next to him. It's like they're right here, one here, and I was right here. I was listening to him talk, and she was saying that we need to do this to him, and then he's like shaking his head like, I don't know. They don't have bodies, but the energy that's involved. When you shake your head, the thought process, the feelings, the energy involved, those are the frequencies that were inside the male part of energy. And he was saying, like, man, I don't know what to do with them. And then I literally just all of a sudden spoke out, telepathy. I spoke out and I said, why don't you try that? Maybe that'll work. And then all of a sudden they saw me and they're like, and she's like, holy shit. And then the male didn't say it to her. The thought didn't go to her. It was just in his head. But he said, I'll fix that tonight. And he did. I woke up that morning and my head was really messed up inside here. And then I didn't know who I knew it was okay. The first thing I woke up, I'm like, what the hell? And then I got assurance really quick, you're okay, just relax, you're okay. So I'm telling myself, all right, I'm okay. And I got up. I didn't know my bed. I didn't know anything, but I knew it was okay. I was being kept calm. And then I went out of the bedroom, went into the whole bathroom. I saw the mirror and I looked at myself and I said, okay, I don't understand, but I know that's me and it's okay. And it took 2-3 days for me to come back. That was part of what I went through dealing with the original first being. The original first being that had made itself male and female. 2 different parts. Did it for company because it was lonely. But they're the aggressive, abusive things that built all this. To beat you up while you're in the body, make you grow, get bigger so you can get back with your spirit mates, release more parts of yourself. And the more people there are, the more beings, spirit beings, people there are, that's what I mean by people, beings, spirit, individual spirits. The more people there were, then the less chance there was that they'd ever be lonely again like they were in the very beginning. And then they wanted, praise, and then they just want to beat everyone up. The more they beat you up, the harder your lives are. Then when you come out of that body, your energy grows bigger. Your spirit and its energy grows bigger. But part of that is from all the abuse frequencies. It's a natural growth thing, but it was making you bigger than they should have been. And then you add to that the abuse frequencies that are in there, and it's making everyone really sick. That's why we're here right now. Anyway, so anyway, that's all been stopped. But so I know those faces I make are funny sometimes. I'm trying to equalize the pressure in my head. So anyway, the council in Saturn was taken out. The Annunaki ruling faction, they're taken out. But while they were here, there was this hiding the space program. They just want to stay hidden. They had control of everyone. Okay, they were taking minerals and stuff out of the planet. They built there was this FEMA camps that had barbed wire around it. That Constantine wire. Gee, I wonder why. They're holding on to food and everyone's going to go crazy trying to get those military meals. No. It's what's under the ground. Down, 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 down. The base is in there. So I put out videos about one I went to as myself. I was barely catching it, really dizzy, and then passed out, and then all of a sudden you hear about this fireball of energy that went to Alaska, went in the water. It looked like it went into the ocean, people said. And then a FEMA camp got destroyed. How about that? From the 19th level down into it. It came from the top, but from the 19th level down, it was ripped open. So, at the same time that was going on, in the FEMA camps down there, they have these huge facilities where they grow clone bodies. They grow clone bodies, but there's never a spirit or anything put in them. They're grown for food. For some of the races, not all reptilian, but some of the, not all the customers were reptilian, but it was mostly reptilian, the customers, but there's a lot of races that eating humans. So they grow the clones until they get to a certain size. Okay, they're never, brought to life activated, they're just left sitting there. And then they'd also take people off the planet. So I put out a video a long time ago about something that happened with them. and we're not going there. Anyway, and the men in black from this that are relative to this other group, the Anunnaki and U.S. military and stuff like that, and not U.S. military, all the other basic military groups. Okay, the Anunnaki are the people controlled by the Anunnaki. The government, the NSA is basically what it is, but it's spread out worldwide. Their men in black are aggressive. Say, hey, talk about it. We'll kill you. Make you watch us kill your family. Blah 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 blah. But this other group that's here living with us, they have the different men in black that come up, and they're just they want to know what you saw. They talk to you. They'll take away information. They'll go into your head with different energy tools, not weapons, tools, and they make you forget. Okay, so anyway, now get away from that. The solar warden thing. We have satellites that shoot particle beams in the sky. We have forever. I can tell you that they were there in '73. They shoot particle beams. Russians have them too. I mean, it's not that big a thing. That was supposed to be some part of an initial defense mechanism. Now, what I want to go ahead and planetary defense, but what I need to bring out right now is that in a lot of these different bases, the Anunnaki and other folk, the Anunnaki, the problematic Anunnaki, that's when I say Anunnaki, that I'm almost always talking about the problematic ones. They had a system where they would send out different jewels, money, whatever forms of wealth, send it out to other scientists on other planets, Sepoians, reptilians, and then say, look, we're going to give you this house, take care of your family over here. We're going to leave you with all this wealth and take good care of you. And we want you to come with us to another planet to do some scientific work. So they say, okay, everyone gets moved, everything's wonderful, and then they go ahead and they get flown over to the Earth, come into a base, they go down, boom, there goes a door. They're prisoners. This has been going on for millions of years. So, and then of course you have your own population growing out of that, and it's not as people talk about millions of people and stuff like that. It's not like that. Anyway, most of those people are freed now. Not all of them, but most of them. There's some scattered here and there, and as soon as I'm gone and they show themselves, then they're going to finish getting everything out of here. And when they do show themselves big time, they're already talking with the other folk in Antarctica. The governments already know about them now. NSA, FBI, CIA, they're around me all the time. They're watching me on satellite mostly. They want to know what's going on. They follow around a friend of mine, Frank, because we're close, and they just, Frank travels all over the world and everything, going to different places here, and they're wanting to know what's going on. And Frank is very, very strong pineal, and he'll be talking, being a translator, interpreter for ETs and stuff, among other things. But they're just following them, waiting to hear information. They want to know what's going on. They can't bug this house. Nothing can get near her. So one day it'll be known what I was, and the Drak call me father. There's a reason for that. The primary Arae and the primary Lily created the Drak race on the second pair of lives that ever happened, due to the immediate abuse of characteristics, design, plans of the original first being, male and female. So anyway, so they can't plan they can't do anything. I'm as safe as can be. Deanna is as safe as can be as far as physically. Me, I want to go anyway. So, all right. That being said, the other ETs that live here with us, they know about it, and they're like, good. They're waiting to become part of this alliance of life. It's already happening. And those of us on the top here, it'll happen with us, but not for a little while yet. We have to do some cleanup, and it's going to be done for us. I'm telling you, most of the stuff is going to be done for you from the other side. So the important part is just to wake up, deal with your daily lives, enjoy them getting better, and then understand with ETs, it's just other people from other planets, other neighborhoods. But that's how we communicate. Okay? They're already advanced metaphysically. We're not. Book 3 has got so much stuff in it. It's huge. I can't even tell you everything. It'd take 5 minutes to tell you what's in the index. The future, what's going to happen here, how it's going to happen, how the governments and other societies going to be laid out. Everyone's going to have free medical. You have free medicine. You have a free place to live, free housing, free utilities, free food. And then if you do other stuff to help other people, then you get more. So anyway, let's get away from that real quick and get into like the solar warden and everything else. Okay, there's a space program. While the problematic Annunaki were here ruling everything, and all this money's coming around. Some of this money has been diverted through our governments, taxed the hell out of us. Come on, everyone pays what, 50% tax before it's done? You know how many people there are? Building these hidden plants, hidden sites here on the planet. Those triangular ships, those are ours. Okay, the triangular ships, that's a different story. Anunnaki have given us a little bit of money and everything, but a little bit of help with some technology, but we were more left open to find stuff as the ships crash in. Why are these ships crashing in? Do you know how many people there are that love people that have been imprisoned, taken and imprisoned here on the planet? If I was able to, and that happened to someone I love, I'd be there. I don't care. I don't care if I needed a rock and a slingshot, I'd be there. And so some of them really aren't set up for it. Some of them come in. There's an embargo now. Things are a lot different now. Things have changed since 2016. Things have changed drastically. And if you look at my videos from 2016 on, or before then too, but go back there, and you all know how to search that stuff better than I do. You'll find out what's going on, because I told you about it when it was happening. I can't remember that now. I have to go look it up myself. My memory is almost gone for dates and stuff like that. Too much of my brain was needed to flow energy through it fighting. Anyway, so there's a group that has arisen from like the joint U.S. military and other folks like that, and there's another group that was coming out from our other friends that are here from other planets. Okay, there's one that the Drak are very much involved in, and I have a son named Bravel, and Bravel's a part of this force. He's strong. He's like a quartermaster for a weapons depot, the weapons depot part of a military base that I mentioned earlier is in the South Pacific. I talk with him sometimes when he's in a chair, or sometimes I'll just go talk to him, you know, when he's not in the chair. But it's easier to communicate with him when he's in a chair. It's easier. I can put a thought in his head pretty hard, but you know, it's more comfortable. I miss my children. Anyway, so he's been recently took off to do something last year or something. Well, it was last year, but I mean, with the Drock about new weapons, training program for new weapons. He has to. Soldiers need to know about weapons, but he's a quartermaster. He needs to know details that, you know, about every weapon. Not the regular soldiers don't have that information. That they don't need to have it, but he does. So he took off. There's a video about that if you search it. So anyway, but this is from another group. Okay. I've always seen weird-looking submarines and battleships, especially in the Pacific. There's some Annunaki in the Pacific, but they're closer to more land-based, because there's different factions of, you know, of groups here on the planet. There was the ones that came individually that were tied in with the problematic Anunnaki, and then there's others that are tied in with the other ETs that have been here forever, and the Earth is their home. And this is the group I'm talking about. I'm not going to call it the secret space program. This is a different group. That's who they are, what they do. And my son's in there. I can't take the time to look at everything all the time. I'm dealing with stuff on the other side still, other spirits. I've been writing books. Yeah, I mean, I've been real busy. So anyway, that's the biggest part of what I wanted to tell you. I mean, I could tell you about personal experiences with our ET friends here in the house all the time. I just did reach out to MUFON to give them a little information, and you know, they're really interested. So I'll see if I can leave them some information while I'm getting this stuff done. But the most important stuff is in the books and the videos. I'm not trying to act as a salesman, but with these books, it's not that much money. If you get book number 1 and read it and understand it, go slow. Go slow. The head publisher, editor, the head editor for Create Space Publishing. It's now become part of Kindle. But when I wrote the first book, she said that, you know, she likes to keep paragraphs long, but she said, Jay, they have to be just a short amount of sentences, because the information in your book is not anywhere else. It's all new. It's all brand new. I mean, people have to think about what there is. I've had people tell me they've read it 10 times. So, and I look at it and I said, wow, they just keep reading. I said, just take a little bit and just go slow. You know, absorb it. If you're that interested in it and you need to know something, you're going to have help from the other side. Help from your spirit guides. People, everything that's happening is orchestrated from the other side. But it's such a big change. You need to know about this right here. Now you're in body. Here it comes. The more you're awake and able metaphysically, the better job you're going to do, the easier it's going to be, the more complete you are as a person, but the more complete your life will be. So everything that's here on the planet, it's all going to start coming together under one roof. Okay? So different people here living together in harmony. So people will be known from the planet Earth. They'll be known from where they come from originally. They'll be known for who they are. It's not about segregation. It's about people coming together to be in harmony, and it's going to happen. And these people have cranked up. They're going to be the major communicators between ETs and businesses, governments, groups, people. This is all about to happen. So I need to stop this video. I could talk, if I could talk for hours, I could tell you all my personal experiences, Deanna and I. What it's like to have children in that manner, what you go through by having your parts of you put together, the whole process, how it goes, how they do surgery on you while they're still on a ship interdimensionally. Excuse me. How they beam on and off ships. Nothing gets disintegrated and put back together. An energy field is put around you, and then it takes your whole body and puts it subdimensional and moves your whole body in one piece subdimensionally, and then boom, there you are. Okay, it's not like Star Trek where they supposedly dematerialize, deatomize your body. No, nada. Okay, so closest thing to something like that would be a food replicator, but again, that, you know, that doesn't exist. Also, this thing about soldiers being taken, you know, people being taken at 16, 17 years old, and then they're put through training, and they spend 20 years with the special space programs. Solar Warden, they're 20 years, they're soldiers and everything, and then all of a sudden they're regressed in age and size, and then they put 20 years in the past, and they go 20 years in the past, and they put them right back in their nice little bed that they were sleeping in. Bullshit. Never has happened, never will. Sorry, Corey, that your brain haven't been told what to think. So do they take people and stuff? Yeah, they do. Will they give you aptitude tests, different things? Yes. Okay. They'll take a look at you, examine you, see what they think, and then they block your mind. They tell you you've been a soldier for 20 years or whatever. They want to test you on the conditions relative to being in space, what it's like. Time alone, fighting in space without weight and everything else. So they just take a look at you, see how you react to different situations, and then they tell you all this bullshit, and then they put you back into bed. Ta-da! Source controls lives. You know, the alpha source controls lives from the other side. It has to. There's so much going on with so many lives, so many spirits and bodies everywhere. Number one, that'll never be allowed because everything would have to be redone. I mean, that's the first thing that you need to understand. The second thing is think about it. Think about it. That technology does not exist anywhere. I understand people can't see what I see. I understand people don't know what I know. But I do understand that people are inherently intelligent. And they have abilities once they learn to trust them where they can understand things for themselves. It's one thing to say it'd be cool if you could, but it's another thing to just take things at face value. That includes me. You become yourself, your full self, awaken yourself. I show you how to do that, and I tell you what's real, what's out there. And then the more you look at it, the more you become yourself, the more you realize, well, Jer's right, you know. There's no fanfare, there's no dollar bill, no donation, there's nothing. It's just be you. I'm doing what I want to do. Doing my job soon. Get out of this damn body. Doing what I was made to do. I'm performing my function. But I do it with a lot of love. compassion, and honor. And I'm a protective son of a bitch. Folks, look, I love you. Those of you that, are offended by the cussing, there are a few, I think 3 cuss words or something. I'm tired. I've been through the hardest life I've ever had, and I'm anxious to get out of this body so I can go to work for everybody. It's my job. I'm going to do it in my full capacity, though. I've never been able to do that at all. So that's basically what's going on. Okay? That information I just gave you in this video, the information that's in the books, the tools and supplies and nice jewelry and stuff that Deanna makes and has at thespiritualfoundation.com. Yeah, that, and I said the videos, you put all the books, you put all it together, that's the most you can have other than getting cranked up. And those spheres, those spheres work. There's nothing else that can do that. Bionic beats everything else. I've had it. I've used it. I have to. If I'm going to talk about something, I need to understand it. I know who you are. I understand you. I've had more lives than anyone else. I'm the oldest thing there is as far as having lives. 10.846 trillion lives. The next most lives is Primary Lily. She's had like 8.9 something. Just under 9 trillion lives. We're going to keep things sorted as long as people don't go abusing other stuff. You do what you want. Why shouldn't you? None of you, except for the 5th wave of souls, which it has almost no one's really had lives yet. The ones I've met have had like 19, 23 lives total, when most everyone has had hundreds of thousands minimum. And a lot of people have had billions, even as much as 1 trillion lives. You're not children. You need to be left alone to explore who you really are by having a life. And the new energy bodies that are coming, you're going to love them. They're awesome. So anyway, that's the best I can do to tell you basically what's going on and not try to turn this into a 5-hour event. And I can't do that. I can't, I don't have it in me. Folks, love you. Take care. If you want to know about and be involved in this, or just not be afraid of the truth when it comes, and it's, I'm telling you, it's there waiting to say hello. They are there. Some of them are a little bit annoyed it's taken me so long to die. I can't help it. I can't just destroy this body. What the hell kind of message is that, Okay, 4 cusses. Anyway, it's about to happen, so maybe now's a good time to wake up. And you can't get a crank up right now, times are nutty, but you will soon. And there's other people out there, I'm sure, that'll crank you up right now. It's just that, and right now, things are calmer. But Deanna will be doing them, and others will be doing them in about 3 months, 4 months, everywhere. So, whatever. Anyway, I went through hell, so did Deanna, in keeping this house, this property, and everything on it. Piece of me is staying here forever. Just going to be here. Till the date that finally comes when the planet gets destroyed. But that's a long, long way away. So, and the field permeates through everything. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just getting free so I can do what I need to. Just has to happen properly. So, but if you can't get cranked up or anything, folks, you get a sphere. It's going to help you. You're trying to wake up on the other side. You're trying to wake up. You're going to have help from the other side. All the tools you need are right here at thespiritualfoundation.com. But like I said, there'll be people around the world cranking people up. There has been, and there's about to be too. It's just right now things are a little crazy over there, but it's about to stop permanently. I just remembered something. For someone to crank you up, they have to be source inside. They have to be strong. They have to be calm and level-headed, and it has to be allowed to happen through the field. Age doesn't matter. Deanna's niece and nephew, the nephew, they're both source, but the nephew, he's the third primary. He's thought of as the third primary hour. He's not primary. The primary hour is what I am. The teeny piece of it that's inside me. There's 4 other hours. There's 4 other focal points inside me that came out. One, and after a while, another one will grow. Natural process, and it comes out. Then there's another natural process where the next focal point builds up. It's ready to be itself, so it's released. So there's myself, the original, and then 4 others that came from me. Then at that point, I literally stepped out of my energy field, and then because the energy field was already sentient, and it became its own thing. This young man, his name's Ignacio. He's 6 right now. 2 years from now, he's going to be doing DNA ICUC. Some people cranking him up. The proof on the the proof of the DNA manipulation from my DNA ICUCs, and once Deanna's done, that'll all be registered before the end of 2019. That should all be already put together in science manuals and stuff. You'll have your actual scientific proof. But he'll be 8 years old and he'll be doing it. Age, it's not about age, it's about who you are inside. The battery inside the body. And everyone's awesome. Souls, man, y'all have just been around forever. Almost everything is soul. You've been around forever. Cool as hell. I mean, and if someone is, problematic, they are what they were made by the original first being. Try not to be mad at them, but just if you can't ignore them, get away from them. If they're in your spot, have them taken away. Okay, don't want to leave on a nasty note, but don't waste time with people who aren't ready for help. If you've introduced a thought process to someone and they're actually ready, they'll come back to you and they'll say, hey, when you talked about, just let it be. Don't push it on anyone. But there's all kinds of stuff happening. The DNA proof will be out there. You already got the quantitative electroencephalogram. The one where I finally got, some good data. We did 2 other ones and I couldn't get data off of them. I'm like, okay, well, so much for that. It's okay. Excuse me, a geneticist in Belgium. He watched that happen. He was watching his equipment. He knows how to use it. And he's like, damn, what the hell is this? Then I cranked him up too. And he's like, anyway, nothing's any better than anything else. There's nothing but equality to our creation. I'm not better than nothing, and nothing's any better than me. that goes with everyone. We can do things better than we have previously. We can improve ourselves. We can make ourselves better. But we can never be any better than anything else. Folks, love you. Take care. I'll be seeing you.